Welcome to Points of Interest. I'm Demetrius Minor, and this is Joey Trainer. And today we are joined by a very special guest and a really good friend of mine. She's an author. She's a community activist here in Augusta, Georgia. Very involved with politics and just a very, very people person. And she's also a radio talk show host. My pleasure to welcome Helen Blocker-Adams.
Very nice to be here, Demetrius and Joey.
Of course, of course.
Wonderful.
And she is here to talk about a new voting initiative that she's launched and to also promote her book, Unlikely Allies. And let's talk about it, Helen. Let's first of all talk about your book here, Unlikely Allies. What is that about?
Unlikely Allies, 8 Steps to Bridging Divides That Impact Leadership is a book that I wrote. Actually, it started in 2005 when I ran for mayor.
That's right.
I kept notes during the mayor's race. I kept notes during the House seat race. And over the years, and so many people would ask me about running for political office, ask me about my experience. And so I decided, let me write a book and put my experiences in this book that talks a little bit about my civic engagement, talks about bridging divides, and that is dealing with diversity, talks about leadership.
And there's plenty of that in Augusta, right? There's
Diversity,
plenty of that to talk about. Diversity, divides, all of that.
All of that,
Yeah.
and that is what this book,
Yeah.
that's what this book is about.
Great.
So Unlikely Allies is really in any type of situation, like you two are unlikely allies.
That's right.
I mean, you got a Republican and you got a Democrat, and there are people who believe that those
That's why I'm
two
wearing the red here.
entities, there are people who believe that those entities can't ever work together.
Right.
But I believe that you can find common ground. You two have found common ground in having a talk show called Points of Interest.
That's
and
right.
so Unlikely Allies is pretty much what this book is about. So the grassroots voter education initiative that me and a friend of mine named Ted Sadler, who's up in Albany, Georgia, he's a political guru. He and I have been talking about this type of strategy for a long time. And what I mean by that, we're calling it the Unlikely Allies Project. Hear me out. Now, the me is whoever has the mic at that particular time, whoever is talking and giving their point of view at that particular time. Our thing is between now and the, for the Republican primaries, there are a lot of, not only are there a lot of issues, but there are a lot of things that the average voter doesn't know about as it relates to voting in the Republican primary or in the general election. For example, Georgia and South Carolina are what we call open primary states. Now, there are many others, but we're more concerned about Georgia and South Carolina. And our thing is, if a person is made aware that they have an option of voting in the GOP primary for, let's just say, their second choice, let's just say there's someone who's President Barack Obama supporter.
Right.
But that we already know he's on the ticket, okay? So why stay idle for the next 12 months?
Exactly.
Why not have a voice in, okay, well, if Barack Obama doesn't win, who of the Republican candidates would I like if I had a choice?
Correct.
And so what we want to do is provide some evening social networking settings throughout the state at different local-owned restaurants in South Carolina and in Georgia, engage the public through Facebook, through Twitter, through community activists in that particular city, have people come and have beverages, have something to eat, but throughout the session, let's just say a 2-hour session, there will be different points that we as a team will put out. We'll be facilitators. And we'll just make a statement and then give people an opportunity to talk about it. And what we feel that if people are in a casual environment with a diverse group of people, not knowing who's a Democrat, who's a Republican, who's a Green Party, who's a Libertarian, then their guards will come down and then we can have a good conversation. Right. So that's what Hear Me Out initiative is all about. And we're really excited about it.
Let me clarify on the open
primaries.
Open primaries. Now, if you choose to vote in the primary, in the Republican primary,
right,
are you locked into voting for voting on the Republican ticket come the election.
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
Wanted to
sir.
make
That would be,
That's
the,
right.
that would be
That's
the
right.
decision that voter will have to make.
That's right. That would
Right.
be, and see, because in the general election, everybody's name's on the ballot.
Right.
Okay, so you can vote for whoever you want to.
Right.
And so what we're saying is, why not play a role in the Republican primary since we already know who's on the Democratic ticket? It's a strategy that a lot of people have used maybe in ways that are not honorable.
Sure,
But
you
what
can use
we-
that to influence, a party or the election or the outcome.
One of the things I was thinking about was the 2008 election when
Okay.
Rush Limbaugh was encouraging his audience to vote in the Democratic primaries to vote for Hillary Clinton because she was viewed as the candidate that the Republicans could beat the most.
Right.
And
Right.
to some extent, it worked maybe in the Ohio and the Texas primaries when he was encouraging that. But I do like what you're saying here is that it gives the voters a second option.
It gives them an option, and that's what this is all about. When you think of people going out to vote, people need to know what the options are. Now, because Georgia and South Carolina are open primary states, it's not like I didn't make that up.
Right.
The legislators, somebody made that up a long time ago. So if it is a fact, why shouldn't we educate the community
Right.
about it in a way that's very honest and open and sincere and honorable?
Well, any
so
voter
that
education is good education. I mean, there's a
That's
lot of
right.
misinformation out there. There's a lot of
That's
people who
right.
don't understand it or don't feel like they have the access. So, I mean, or don't value it. And,
That's true.
if you, the belief that the belief that your vote has no value is an act of voter suppression. Whether it's whether it's mentally or emotionally or otherwise. So this, I think, is a good opportunity to just empower people.
That's right.
Empower people to their voice, to their choices, to their to their I'd say most precious American privilege, right?
That's right. That's
So
exactly
Civic duty
right.
to vote.
That's
Now,
exactly
where
right.
where would these education places be taking place?
Well, we're
Education
looking
initiatives.
to identify restaurants.
Right.
More than likely restaurants, locally owned restaurants in cities. The cities that we're targeting in South Carolina are Florence, Aiken, Beaufort, Charleston, and Columbia, and the Greenville-Spartanburg area.
Okay, great.
And we've already made contact with people who are owners of restaurants, and we're booking those between now, because see, January is the Republican primary.
That's right,
Okay,
in South Carolina,
In South
correct.
Carolina, and there's other states too, but in particular, but in Georgia, it's not until March.
Not till March.
However, we are planning to launch at an event, which I can't broadcast right now, next week here in Augusta to kind of kick it off here in Augusta. But we have a website. It's called UnlikelyAlliesProject.com. UnlikelyAlliesProject.com, and you can go on that site in the next couple of days. Well, you can go on it now, but in the next couple of days, we'll have dates of different locations. So we want to show some love to local businesses, have some refreshments, and then just have a nice casual atmosphere and hear me out is what this initiative is all about. We're
Now,
really excited.
we'll be
Come
sure
to
to
March.
post that information up on our Facebook page.
Okay,
and,
fantastic. Yes,
keep people updated.
absolutely.
Well,
Now let me just say this: we already know that there will be the diehard Republicans and Democrats that won't be too happy about this. Okay,
Really?
But see,
Why wouldn't they be happy about that?
No,
please,
We don't even have enough time, but
Oh,
they
okay.
wouldn't be happy because the political parties want to keep their parties pure. How dare you, as a Democrat, vote in the Republican primary? How dare you, as a Republican, vote? The establishment
Right.
status quo.
Yeah.
They don't want that.
Right.
Okay.
But I'm not status quo.
Right.
And I believe that the voters should have an option. They have a right. We have open primaries in Georgia, so we're going to educate them on that as well as other things. But that's what's hot on our mind right now as it relates to the presidential election.
Now, when it comes to the Georgia primary, which you said is not till March, probably by that time, we have 8 GOP candidates right now.
Right.
All 8 will not be in the race by that time. I'm assuming probably like 3 or 4 at the most.
Okay.
Will our approach be the same, or would it be different, even with the number of candidates dropping?
Oh, no. The number of candidates has nothing to do because the person still, now, granted, let's just say someone may have a particular candidate that they have in mind and they're not in the runnings in March. Well, then there's somebody still left. There's
Right,
somebody still
exactly.
they can vote for. Either way, up to the GOP primary, somebody's going to be on the ballot. Okay, so the person still has a right to go and vote. And we're not suggesting go and vote for any particular candidate.
That's
we're
right.
simply saying you have an option.
Right.
You can be a player in this GOP primary, even if you vote on the Democratic ticket and you want to vote for President Obama in November.
Right.
And that's great because I see that as like a very nonpartisan education approach.
That's right. And our
Giving someone the option.
the team that's involved with this, who will be the facilitator, they represent every political background, and we'd love for you too, if you could,
Great. That
to
sounds
be a
great.
part of that. I mean, this is going to be fun, we believe,
I hope so.
and impactful.
Now, is there any costs associated with trying to go and attend any of these?
Oh, no. It's free. It's free to the public.
That's even
They
better.
can come, and now if they go to the restaurant and they want to buy adult beverage, then that's on them.
Okay.
But no, it'll be a free event, and we just want to put it out and pack
So if
the
you're hungry, I'm
places.
imagining it's a restaurant. You can order something. But
That's
if you're
right.
not, there's a place for you to sit also and just
That's
enjoy.
exactly
Okay.
right. And we plan on providing some light refreshments for the people that come as well.
Great.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
great. That sounds,
Okay.
and it's called Hear Me Out.
Hear Me Out. That's
That is
exactly
great.
right. And people can get information right now on our website, unlikelyalliesproject.com.
That's unlikelyalliesproject.com.
That's right.
And this seems like a really good, phenomenal event because it's all about educating. It's
That's
all about informing. And in the midst of being educated and informed, people will probably, take a second look
that's
or, just look deeper into the issues. And that's what we want to do.
And
Helen.
pay attention to the issues. I think it's a sad commentary for someone to, just because they vote Democrat, that they don't pay attention at all
Right.
to the other candidates. Listen, there's always some ideas, one party doesn't have all the answers to all of the problems.
So the media basically is an answer to the media, who's not really. I guess they're not doing a good enough job of presenting the candidates, or the
no.
candidates themselves presenting their own plans.
No, I think the candidates are doing a good job. I just think that the voters who are of one political persuasion will
Right.
completely tune themselves out and not even listen to the
So
other
do you
candidates.
think they will show up to this event, or is that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
you're
because
trying to do, or that's
The independents, like a lot of independents for sure.
Well, not
Right.
only that, this is for anybody who's interested in politics, who's interested in knowing more about what's going on, who's interested in voter education. So we're not going to put it out as any political parties. We're saying, hey, we want you to come and be a part of this. And so when people walk in, there's not going to be any sign to indicate what political persuasion they are in.
Right.
Okay.
And that would
so-
attract people more because,
right.
because a lot of times for both sides of the aisle, if they see a certain political symbol behind it, they may be turned off by
That's
it.
right. That's exactly right.
But a nonpartisan approach, I guess, is a matter of unity, Helen, here.
That's right. Building bridges,
That's right.
finding common ground, like you two have successfully done. That's what this is about.
And Helen, we do appreciate you coming on the
Oh,
show.
you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me,
talk
both
about
of
this,
you.
To talk about this
I'm so
initiative.
proud of you too.
Thank
I
you.
really am.
Hopefully, we'll be able to attend and then bring more news to the events of what you guys are doing to the show later on to see how things are going.
Absolutely.
And Helen, I've already
Yes.
told you this, but I tell you again, you've always inspired me
Oh.
and encouraged me to work hard and to get involved with the community. And I really do appreciate
You're
that.
very welcome.
Thank you again for
Thank
coming
you,
on the show.
Demetrius.
Yeah.
Helen
All right. Thank you.
Blocker-Adams here, author of the book Unlikely Allies, and she was here to talk about her new voting initiative, Hear Me Out. Points of Interest will return right after this.